Hi, GC News. Meba ubibia kwaba hadi latest hot ekwa era mede bramo. Anunti se unya subscribe to channel dia bomodi ase obe subscribe. Rawe se obe click the subscribe button no. Na wa bele notification no. We had sa video fufuru bia be upload no. When the first person was sa ebeka sa video. Afi we na wa like video no. Give us a thumbs up. Na fi share ma wo foforo so na wenye bi hwe na wo hu ensemo a ekoso ewo gara memwa atentemara yembura ye ensemo abeto yepono so inti yes report ya babetu dwa mu iti sansemu yi.
Demonstrations, yes, they are part of our democratic rights, and any organization, any group of people are permitted to engage in demonstrations, even if the reasons for their demonstrations are unreasonable. They are still entitled to organize demonstrations, and I'm happy that this time around we did not see the drama that was associated with the intention to organize demonstrations in the past. Court injunctions, limitations of where demonstrators can converge and can't converge, intimidation by security officers. I'm happy that, this demonstration passed without any of those shenanigans that government in power or parties in power in the past deployed to frustrate people who wanted to carry out the civic responsibility of demonstrating against or for a cause that they feel strongly about. Having said that, I wonder what the MPP wants His Excellency President Mahama to do. I mean, I know that they are made up of very, very good lawyers, astute lawyers, they call themselves. And so, if President Mahama has done anything that is against the laws of this country, why are they not challenging it in court? Or it is just politics that they want to play? Because clearly, when you look at the Constitution, President Mahama has been following the Constitution when it comes to the case against the Chief Justice. And you see, Senator, I'm not a lawyer. I just read the law on its face value because it is written in English. The question of the suspension of the Chief Justice, if you read the provision on the suspension of the Chief Justice, you wonder. I mean, if your comprehension is not bad, if this indeed is a sole prerogative of the president to suspend the Chief Justice, I mean, the provision is such that it has to be in consultation with the Council of State. He appoints, a chairman to look at it. Then it says that the committee appointed under clause 6 of the article shall inquire into the petition and recommend to the president whether the Chief Justice ought to be removed from office. Now, the relevant provision is, I think, 6 or is it 5? 1465.
6.
Yeah, is it 6?
Yeah, I think 6.
Yeah. Acting in consultation with the Council of State, I know where the suspension is, it's supposed to be a recommendation, that's how I get it, of the Council of State. It's not a suo motu decision of the president. It's not like he takes a personal decision that, look, after looking at the petition and having assessed it, I think that you should go on suspension. It is not his prerogative. It's not something that he is seized with. It has to come from the Council of State, because the petition goes to the Council of State. They assess it and they return it to him, and that is where they recommend a suspension or otherwise. And so if they recommended a suspension and he's carried out that suspension, really, if you are demonstrating, then maybe you should be demonstrating against the Council of State, or maybe the Council of State and the President. But I get it. I understand that this is politics. This is much ado about nothing. This is playing to the gallery. This is a party that has lost an election so embarrassingly that they need to engage in acts that will, you know, give hope to their supporters who are so, you know, embarrassed and ashamed of the performance of the party in the last election. But what they are doing may be motivating the core base of the party. But if you are a fair observer, you will notice that it is putting away fair-minded Ghanaians from ever even giving them the benefit of the doubt. Because only a few years ago, you were in office. And owing to your abuse of power, your corrupt nature, your arrogant nature, you were handed the most embarrassing defeat any party has ever faced in the last election. And so when all of a sudden you begin to demonstrate and create, you know, and become a nuisance against some of the things that you were doing, then people begin to think that you are dishonest. People who are fair-minded begin to think that you are not deserving of consideration, especially even if this current government fails. So I think that they may be achieving their aim of, you know, inspiring their base, you know, giving them hope and letting them feel that the party is still alive. But they should be concerned. The leadership of the party should be concerned about the average Ghanaian who is not really committed to any of the political parties, but assesses issues based on fairness, based on, you know, what they think is right. Because clearly what they are doing is not sitting well with many Ghanaians who are fair-minded. Look, I don't even want to go there, but you have heard people ask the question of what happened with Charlotte Osei. What happened with Charlotte Osei? I mean, didn't she also have the same rights that they are preaching now? And what did they say? I heard Professor Michael Quay this week, you know, question that hypocrisy from their own party. I mean, what did they say? How did they approach it? In fact, some of us at the time made the argument that the president was not to be an automatic conveyor of petitions. But they shut it down. I mean, but clearly, if you look at the constitution again, I still feel that the president is not supposed to be an automatic conveyor of petitions. But they strongly argued against that and established the tradition that the president must automatically forward every petition against any of these officers to the Council of State. And so it has been established. And now when that thing you fought to establish is working against you, even in a better situation, in a better scenario, you want the world to hear you cry, your cry. I mean, clearly, your hypocrisy is what they will see, and not the agony that you pretend to be feeling. So I think that His Excellency President Mahama, so far as the Chief Justice is concerned, and what are the issues? I mean, the petition, you know, it's there. We have the law, the constitution, and the president is going according to what the petition, I mean, what the constitution requires him to do. And the courts are there for them to challenge any of his actions and his decisions. And at the end of the day, if the Chief Justice is not guilty of any of the issues raised in the petition, I don't see His Excellency President Mahama, you know, being unfair and doing anything outside the law. What people must understand is that President Mahama comes to the presidency with with a lot of fairness, with commitment to the rule of law. And it's demonstrated even in how he deals with people who are supposed to be, you know, if you like, his associates. You recall that this is not the first time President Mahama is taking an officer through this process. The last officer President Mahama took through this process was when he was president before 2016. And it was the Shraj boss, Loretta Lamte. This was a woman who was appointed by his predecessor, his boss, Professor Atta. But when a petition was raised against her, he treated it fairly, and at the end of the day, discharged his duties as expected of him under the Constitution. And so nobody should think that in this particular case, he will do anything short of being fair and short of being within the law. He is not like them. He is not going to act based on trump-up charges, and he's not going to act outside what the law requires him to do. I am confident that at the end of the day, if the Chief Justice is exonerated, His Excellency President Mahama will have no business, you know, recommending for his, you know, continuous stay in office. And I'm also confident that if at the end of the day she is found guilty, he will have no qualms at all recommending, you know, her removal from office. But what the MPP is currently doing is simply lending credence to the widely held notion that she has been doing MPP politics as Chief Justice. There's no other evidence now beyond what the MPP is currently doing. It has proven beyond any reasonable doubt now that on the bench she was playing MPP politics. Otherwise, what business do they have making this legal process such a political warfare? What interest beyond partisanship do they have? Because it is not even the only legal matter in this country. Assuming they are concerned about the laws of the country, they are concerned about, you know, judicial independence, it is not the only legal matter that President Mahama is dealing with currently. So if they have decided to prioritize this one the way they are going about it, then at the end of the day, they will leave no one, and I believe so far they have already left no one in doubt that she was put there to play MPP politics, and they feel threatened that her removal will mean a hit to their political agenda on the bench.
Yeah. I think say minority leader I'll see him friend or Sahene Afenyo Markin Kwabena. That's it. He's running ahead of his shadow.
Sahene will win it back. Yes, the Sahene will win.
Honestly, me feel win it back. Me to win it back. For the first time I made for the first time I made this Parliament say they should add Osahene to his name because they say or your Sahene.
Good.
Honestly,
I was say or your Sahene. I was saying and I've not said leading the minority as I say would discerning, but yes, Sahene will win it back.
But you see, so is it my making?
No.
So what this Sahene will win it back? Would the Parliament is young fanka would deal? So I'm not wrong, or am I wrong?
Oh, there be team. Me best me say. Or yes, Sahene will win it back. Jamaica say Chief Justice Act the chair say. The divisional say the hierarchy of the chiefdom. I say I didn't need including ayi for events nkoso hene you bought tribe bia
the act say the chieftains and the traditional authorities are not engaged in partisan politics
but ono de nye eya ontimenya politics
na chieftains in your classroom
but you see it obi
me ba traditional authority classroom class be no one class 1 and 2
say enidi so
enidi de ne ye wahin you made reference to the chieftaincy act entina me bisa was there
or warlord a traditional council now okay chieftaincy act or say there shall be asante hene and the paramount chiefs they come to the divisional chiefs no about divisional chiefs no about sub chiefs na fe now about edikru edikru no cheze wasaka say anaso ni bia chieftaincy act in recognizing it the recognition ebine sahene yebo enkoso hene yebo ne sa no
and this are recognizing their own timenya politics the act duly recognizes him and on the title
you can obetimi atwode akọ
na you get it I am not interested in writing to because my catcher will say Ghana's parliament is a crime scene do you get it and intinu I'm not surprised say enema bisa ACC in the house no more na ye event the makers of our laws that's to obitimi contravening laws in the house and it does not prick the conscience of parliament. I wouldn't be the one to waste my energy to go there. Abra minim say issues that parliament nankasa take is so be investigated to the date. They have never been able to come out of it. Okay. Yewa ena Kennedy any mutakano munya issue privileges committee. What has come out of it? Yewa Kennedy and Chairman Sabonsu. Privileges committee hwiamfimama ensem bebre na akoso of parliament wa hwiamfimama yet ha parliament ya na di ekakagu yeso bra ye bre omo na sign they pass the laws to plant us into poverty into difficulty. These are my basis. So enya no kra enya parliament ne pass e-levy. Was it not the same parliament that passed 2022 approve
forest yanko 120
me train yanko 120 parliament we are na approve yanko forest nko too good me wa
yeah
na anya crime scene amun komani ndiga afenyo chechemu se do mama petete now in his understanding of Article 146 process no matrigano it is akin to Mahama wanting the third term enunti and opese yes chief justice because it is the Supreme Court and a interpretation. If I go by this logic it accentuates my long-standing view. Say obi obe appointed judge biano e will control over that judge. This is Afenyo Markin saying. Say who pursue we be was Supreme Court change the Chief Justice and you can do it.
Yeah.
So the independence of the judiciary has been called into question. Say the judiciary say independent, independent. Ziga. That means to say President Akufo Addo yi Charlotte say fi hono no per second term meba
yeah
is that can I say so
now we call the casa
no a logic meba and based on Afenyo's premise can I also say Akufo Addo wanting the second term that was why he took out or he removed Charlotte say any the two deputies are now. But can I say that? You see, I believe that people going to study law and those who are called to the bar, who want to practice law, Ghana bar for some money prayer, they should make it a prerequisite requirement before the ban who call psychiatric hospital. Now this certificate be justify say you are clean. What dream mu emu da ho. Ansana because as a lawyer you must be consistent. Your reasoning must be clean. People sitting outside must see say we are sound in reasoning. We shouldn't have challenges when you're finding your reason to be out of place.
Eti Afenyo Markin so ku psychiatric ana. Sana person che.
Mr. Ghana, it's a general recommendation to Ghana Bar Association.
So on what you know the
General Legal Council said.
It is a didn't know what cancer said.
Me back on Ziga.
You save that.
I'm not saving.
Save the upcoming ones that you are about to see. I'm saying say in Kofu share on TV, and you say is a Ghana Bar Association. Yeah. Before you call obi to the bar, I see a man called psychiatric hospital. Yeah, question and I'm saying it didn't know what cancer.
Because too many mad people walking about as lawyers.
It be why.
Say you just sound, your argument and just sound that.
It be why.
Now betray. I said you want to force it out of my mind.
I'm not forcing it.
Yes, allow me to go ahead.
Right.
Ghana Bar Association. On the 24th of April, 2025, it's still the public statement. Mewa, otchere yen say process now president no more faso in the removal of the Chief Justice. So far, so very good. There was nothing wrong. And to be under them and follow process. Everybody should adhere to the law. Mewa, 2 days on, 26th. Of the same April 2025, almost a media conference. And from the media conference, 47 people that voted. I said, President should revoke the suspension of Mundiama Chief Justice in line with Article 146 without any quotation of law. It was not based on law. So if you are sound, will you do that? Ziga, Kesbin ha muti amuwe jumamu hai. Ziga, if you have a decision to take a 24th na Sunday, this is Sunday program amubeyi. There will be a general program of Kesbin on Sunday. Would you take a decision today only to go and reverse it on Sunday?
You go ahead.
So what dream that what dream we sound that you wait and go to that media review conference, you go and put it before the conference, because the conference this thing should be one of the higher decision making body. So some and our leadership you have a meeting of this nature, you will go to them and go and seek clearance before. You don't do it for them to come and negate it. By so doing, you have brought the name of the bar into public disrepute. And enough grounds for your removal. What I say, many our lawyers are and now court. A court defended the inclusion of Justice Jew as a former MPP parliamentary candidate on the Supreme Court bench. The same crop of lawyers, Afenyo Markin, say Justice Bafuboni cannot be part of a Supreme Court bench simply because in their mind he is a beneficiary of the process. How? Abra Wunim say Justice Paul Bafuboni was at this bench. And Sana Torkonoo was made Chief Justice over Paul Bafuboni. At that time, you didn't talk about seniority on the bench. But today, shamelessly, because you don't have sound mind, you want to go and stand before the Supreme Court and canvass this argument. Now, if you say, me, I'm a teacher, I'm a serious.
Okay. Ghana Bar Association for Armor Resolution. Okay, I'm coming you, Mr. Sapamati. Ghana Bar Association. Now, Kasana will say the Ghana Bar Association, Article 146. Oman Bibiaso and no more catcher or man penny. Okay, so the Ghana Bar Association resolution or more, say withdrawal of directive on assignment of courts, and for and a date for newly filed cases and applications, and also suspension of Chief Justice. They are not talking about the removal of the Chief Justice. They are talking about anything say first one. Also, second one, they are not one. Yes, they think that Omanpenny has the right, according to the article 146, to remove the Chief Justice if the Chief Justice no. But the second one here, the suspension of the Chief Justice, not the removal of the Chief Justice. There are two. And no matter the quantia, the Omanpenny should reverse the suspension of the Chief Justice.
What is that?
One, was the Ghana Bar Association calls for the immediate revocation of the suspension of the Chief Justice, as it considers the suspension to be unconstitutional. Consider the fact that the president, who is not a judge or judicial officer, exercised discretion to suspend the Chief Justice under Article 146 Clause 10 of the Constitution in the absence of a published constitutional instruments, instruments or regulations governing the exercise of his said discretion required by Article 296 of the 1992 Constitution.
Ziga, why wouldn't you make us a Agyarko Okrobono?
Meba.
What my basis? Let me tell you why these bases hold not water. Ghana Bar Association was in this country when Article 146 was used against a retalamity of trad balls. Was there publication of rules and regulations? No. Did you hear Ghana Bar Association? Never.
This is different.
This is not different. It is not different. I don't. How different is it? Or exercising discretionary power if you are not a judge. President Mahamadu Atamos Abresomibwa, as it John Mama Neyi Henry Talamti, as a president, he received the petition. Was he not a president? He was a president then. When Henry Talamte was removed, when Akufo Addo was removing Charlotte Osei and two others, was Akufo Addo not a president? Was he a judge?
And they said,
did he publish?
Article 55 that removed the...
No, 146.
The Article 55...
146.
There you remove your fairness.
And 55.
The electoral audit.
It is not 55.
The electoral commission issue is different from where you Chief Justice.
No, you see, you are getting it wrong.
The same.
It is not the same
process.
You see,
but they are different positions altogether.
When you ask me a question, let me tell you what I know. Ziga, let me tell you what I know. Article 146. Yes, so you won't correct me because what you are saying is not a correction. It's a confusion.
It's not confusion.
It is.
Deputy, Beba.
Oh, Article 55. Nobody used Article 55 to remove anybody.
You made us to understand, say.
Yes.
You made us to understand, say. The Ghana Bar Association, they should seek a psychiatric attention. And I may make sure, say, Ubisa say, Ade. And I'll say, Oma Kase Miunu. And I'm saying, Miunu ne dine day. Oh, say, the Ghana Bar Association, initially, in support of what the president is doing. Fine. And I also say, can one say, Omanpenny na ye Chief Justice na ye no omontiase. It means that omo confuse this country. That is why they want to see. You want them to see this. And I say, asem na o kana o wa fa ne tra no. Two things that they are talking about. Two things that you are talking about. I'm not arguing with you.
What are the two things?
The two things they say. One.
As of 24th April, now President has suspended Chief Justice. She was suspended. So what is the point?
And I'm say the Ghana Bar Association say they are not against the removal of the Chief Justice.
It's not the removal.
That is what we said.
Let me ask you.
That is what we said initially.
Go back and remove you. As we are speaking per Article 146. And I will far by say. Ghana Bar Force, who cited Ghana Bar Force Article 296, exercising discretionary power, where if you are not a judicial officer, there shall be a published rules and regulations governing that process. And Namibisa will say, In this country, Henrietta Lamte was removed from office, went through suspension and what have you. Ghana Bar never raised that question of a judicial and non-judicial officer exercising discretionary power without regulations, without published regulations. We were here when Akufo Addo removed Charlotte Osei and 2 others. A non-judiciary officer removing people without published regulations. The bar kept quiet.
Good. And I make sure say, I'm not arguing with you on that.
But you said the process are different. How different are they?
Let me tell you, say, and your kasana udi kakasa.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to yourself.
Listen to myself.
No, you said that the Ghana Bar Association are against the remover. And all my some and I'm saying no, Debbie. They are talking about 2 things. One, they are not against the remover, but they are against the suspension of. And I will say the suspension in there. And I make sure I the quality. Almost say, you suspended the Chief Justice.
In your mind.
Not my mind.
In your mind, what they are saying, does it make sense to you?
Oh, that is up to you. Oh, now,
but that is what I'm saying. You don't want me to say.
There be a moment. So
allow me to say it. So you won't say it. Let me say my things and go away.
It was 2 titty. Oh my goodness. 2 things. There
are not 2 things. There's no confusion.
One. Why interchange the?
Can I come in?
What the 1 thing? You're number 2. Because Ghana Bar Association, I don't want you to establish this here. Say they are against the removal of the chief.
They are.
What they haven't said it anyway.
They are.
Oh my goodness.
Ghana Bar Association is against the process.
24 hours. Let's.
Resolutions no mudiabano is against the process, and that must be put on record.
Process but no remover. Process but no remover. What is the difference between the remover and the process?
What's the essence of the process?
What is the essence of the process? And I'm already the resolution that they post. There is a resolution on the buying. And
you can't separate the remover from the suspension.
I don't get it.
It is a procedural process.
It's a process.
I get it.
If you're against the process, it means you're against everything the president is doing.
Yo, it for winning and someone about it. So because so when you subscribe to channel area, Bomodia say or subscribe. Now, while I give video, give us a thumbs up. Now, share my or for frozen. Now, when you be here now, and somewhere because Ghana Memohadam. Also, beat me at wondering if I and some way now I will comment boxing in my next video.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.